Hi everyone, I shall be taking a session on essential nutrients. What is their role in the plant and what are the deficiency symptoms they exhibit when they are deficient in soil and plants. Why do symptoms appear on the plants? This is one question. Secondly, how to diagnose them. Has it something to do with the soil? Of course, yes. So nutrient status inside plant is an unseen factor, and low fertility of soils is the major constraint in achieving the desired yield potential of the crop. And this inadequate nutrient replacement through fertilizers and manures far below the crop removal cause mining of native reserves over the years due to continuous cropping. So there are certain implications due to nutrient deficiency. Number one is weakened foundation for the high crop yield, and secondly, there's a decline in the nutrient use efficiency as well as the benefit cost ratio, and it is difficult to rectify that soil and the loss which take place for the crop. And basically, diagnosing the deficiency symptom is a tool for soil fertility assessment. This is a and there are another tools like plant tissue analysis, soil analysis. But this diagnosing the symptoms in the field itself, it is a very quicker method, and it provides us immediate attention of the farmer as well as our own intention to rectify that at a short period of time. So, what happens due to continuous uptake of nutrients from the soil? There is a supply of the nutrients available nutrients to the plants is restricted, and gradually the plant starts suffering, and it affect the crop yield. So the level of the nutrient in the soil goes below a certain critical level, then only the deficiency symptoms appear on the plants. But before that, due to the less supply of nutrients, already some loss to the crop yield has already taken place. There are certain advantages and disadvantages both with the diagnosis symptoms and the way of assessing fertility. Advantage is that it gives us immediate indication of nutrient status in the soil and plant and do not require much confirmation. But disadvantage is that visual deficiency symptoms do not develop until there has been a major effect on yield, growth and development. So sometimes symptoms may be complicated or suppressed by other factors also. This is also there, and these complications may lead to forming an entirely wrong conclusion. Sometimes it may happen. Nevertheless, with experience, an observant visual method can be used quickly with a great advantage. So, if we see the declining soil fertility of Indian soils, 89% soils are low to medium in nitrogen, 80% medium to low in phosphorus, 50% medium to low in K, 41% deficient in sulfur, 47% deficient in zinc. So there are widespread deficiencies in the soils of the country, and these has aggravated with the continuous cropping with high yielding use of high yielding varieties, and with the green revolution we have achieved so much high yield, but the nutrient uptake, nutrient mining has been a continuous process, and that's why we see that how gradually since 1950 to now at present to 2020 we can see how many nutrients have become deficient in Indian soils, and this will further continue to be deficient until unless we manage them properly. And soil characteristics play a major role in supplying the plant nutrients to the crops, and this is how the soil pH affect the nutrient availability. And secondly, different crops have different requirement of the adaptive conditions to perform in a better way. So these are also the factors which decide at a particular location why the nutrient deficiencies are appearing. When we talk of the essential nutrients, There are these essential nutrients, they play the very essential role in the plant nutrition and metabolism. And these nutrients are essentially inorganic. Unlike the humans, we need inorganic and organic both, but plants generally require the inorganic nutrients. And there is certain criteria for the essentiality of a nutrient in the plant. So the Arnon and Stott, they have given a criteria that any nutrient which hampers, which affect the life cycle of a crop is essential for its plant growth. And if it is essential, then it must show some deficiency symptoms, and it is directly involved in the plant nutrition, and its place cannot be replaced by any other nutrient. But further, the Nicholas, they modified this criteria, and he suggested that whether its function is clear cut or not, its action is specific or not, if it plays any role in the plant metabolism, it should be considered as essential. So based on these things, these nutrients become deficient, there are different symptoms they show in the plants, and it can be chlorosis, it can be necrosis, there can be coloration, there can be a lack of new growth, stunting of the plants. But when we talk of these essential nutrients, these are the nutrients which are considered essential: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, calcium, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum, nickel, chloride, cobalt. So these nutrients, these black colored carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, we need not to bother much about them because they are available from the environment itself. Carbon is available from the carbon dioxide, hydrogen and oxygen plants get from the water, and NPK, these are the primary nutrients which we must supply to crops for optimum production, otherwise the crop yields are affected badly. Sulfur, calcium, magnesium, again they are essential, but they are supplied through the sources for which we supply the primary nutrients. So micronutrients, they are needed in very small quantities, but their role is equally important. So now we will be talking about all these nutrients, but these are the whatever nutrients, whatever source we use in the soil, these are the forms of different elements in which the plants take up these nutrients from the soil. So indirectly, the whatever fertilizer we are applying, it's not taken up by plant directly until unless it is converted into plant available form. So now when we come to the nitrogen, this is the most important element in agriculture. This is the element which is required in the highest amount by any crop. Most of the crops, they require in large amount nitrogen, and nitrogen is a constituent of chlorophyll inside the plant. And the chlorophyll element molecule, we can see this is the central element in the chlorophyll structure. So and it is a major component of plant cell wall, cell cytoplasm. It is essential for amino acid production, synthesis of proteins, nucleic acid, porphyrins, flavins, purines, and pyrimidine, nucleotides, enzymes, coenzymes, and alkaloids. This is responsible for transfer of genetic code from the plant to the next offspring. Then it improves the quality of leafy vegetables, improves the protein quality of food grains by enhancing proportions of different amino acids. So conditions favoring N deficiency. Generally, nitrogen deficiency occur under cold, flooded, and saturated soils conditions, dry soil conditions, sandy soils. Wherever there are large amount of low N residue we add, there also immobilization of nitrogen take place, and deficiency of nitrogen to plants take place. Inadequate fertilization is one major cause. Leaching, wherever there is high rainfall areas, nitrogen is a deficient element there. So when we talk of the deficiency of this nitrogen inside the plant, general paleness is the clear-cut one symptom of the low N supply to the plants. Leaves of the older leaves of the plant, they turn pale first, and gradually that paleness moves from the older leaves to the newer leaves, and subsequently the whole crop will appear as if yellowish in color. So and other symptoms can be if some little supply is affected, then slow growth and stunted plants, low protein content, fewer leaves, early maturity. In corn, yellowing begins from the leaf tip and extends along the midribs. Less tillering in small grains and other grasses. Wherever there is and supply is restricted, tillering of the cereal crops especially is affected badly. And reduced yield potential is the major symptom that we see it in later stage. But in field conditions we see symptoms like this, the yellowing of the older leaves. So we can see through these slides this the normal potato plant, then deficient plant. Tomato leaf we can clearly see. Brassica, the crops like maize, brassica, they are very good indicator plants. They give us early sign of the nutrient deficiency in the soil. So we can clearly see how the brassica leaves are yellowish at the bottom, and then younger one are the green one. So here we can see another one where the full the two plots where one is optimally N supplied, another one is not supplied through nitrogen. So we can see the color difference, the paleness in the crop and a weak crop we can see. And this in case of banana we can see how it is showing. And here it is a T1 plot which did not receive any N application, but rest of the three slides they have they received full supply of nitrogen in different forms. So we can clearly see the optimum fertilization and the where we are not supplying nitrogen, how the crop is affected and yield potential goes down. So like now moving to the next element, phosphorus. Phosphorus in the plant gets incorporated into nucleic acid, phosphoproteins, phospholipids, sugar, phosphatase, adenosine triphosphate, adenosine diphosphate. It is important for energy transformation and metabolic processes in the plants. And P is involved in the major processes like generation of membrane electrical potential, respiration, biosynthesis of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectins, lignins, proteins, lipids, phospholipids, and it stimulates the root growth. So with the optimum supply of the phosphorus, the crop performs very well, and we can achieve the full yield potential if we are supplying adequate amount of phosphorus along with other nutrients. So conditions favoring P deficiency, all the acid soils, alkaline soils, they are deficient in phosphorus supply to the crops. And the cold soils that they are there also we get a less supply of phosphorus to plants. Compacted soil also, sometimes the injured roots are unable to take up phosphorus, though it may be available in the soil. But if roots are injured, the supply is restricted, so deficiency symptoms may sometimes appear because of that also. But P deficiency symptom, general deficiency symptom of phosphorus deficiency is purple colored development in older leaves, not in the newer leaves, because phosphorus is also mobile in the plant system. And other symptom, other indications is stunted growth, reduced tillering also, and poor root growth basically is associated with less P supply. In many crops, the symptom can be aggravated by the conditions that restrict the root growth. So this we can clearly see how in brassica, in cabbage, in maize, this symptom is very common. And if phosphorus supply is inadequate, we can see purple coloration of leaves, older leaves in different crops. In almost all crops, we can see this symptom. So, and it is very easy to diagnose the deficiency of phosphorus in plants. Moving to the next nutrient, potassium. So potassium is the element which we consider as a very friend of the plants. It activates 80 enzymes. It is not a constituent of any part of the plant. It keeps on moving inside the plant through the cell sap, and it activates different enzymes. It regulates opening and closing of stomata, transports water and nutrients, and it maintains the translocation of nitrate, phosphates, calcium, magnesium in the plant. If it is deficient, the translocation is hampered, and it increases the root growth, drought tolerance, disease tolerance, tolerance against frost. So these are all provided by the potassium, and it also adds value to the marketability of the produce. It enhances the crop quality and shelf life of fruits and vegetables. So it reduces the lodging of crops and enhances the winter hardiness, and rest of the things I have already said. And we can expect K deficiency in high rainfall areas where all the cations are leached down, and sandy soils which are not able to hold this iron. Geological weathered soil, they are also K deficiencies there. Heavy K removal by preceding crop, like that, the different conditions we can experience the deficiency of potassium. But the identification of the symptom of K deficiency is very easy in field conditions. So older leaves of the plants, they starts drying up from the tip and margin, and that drying gradually move inside the leaf. So gradually, ultimately, the whole the leaf may dry, and even it may become brittle and may drop down. So this is the deficiency symptom, and besides this, some other symptoms are also there. It is as I said, that it provides the logic resistance to crop. We can see this slide, K deficient and control. Here, how the leaves are drooping down, and with the K deficiency, under K deficient condition, but in control all the nutrients are supplied equally. This is a pot study with Hoagland solution, and we can see the type and the leaf. The leaf, they are straight in case of control, but they are drooping in case of K deficiency conditions. And another symptom in the case of maize, when we see half-filled maize cobs during the harvesting, this is the indication that that field is not properly supplied with potassium. So another symptom, small and shriveled grains, also dull luster of the seeds is not proper if potassium is not provided in adequate amount. So these are the different symptoms across the crops. We can see in the grapes how the corner, from the corner, it is drying. This coloration should not be misled. This is just drying of the leaves, and it will move inside, and ultimately the whole the leaf will dry just like cabbage. And another slides, we can see how the margin and tips, they are drying up gradually, and it is moving inside. So in crops like maize, we can experience the deficiency symptom very easily. In other crops like potato, there is different dark purplish color, dark bluish color develops in the leaves, and leaves internode distance becomes small, and the potato tubers, the size of the tubers is affected badly if it do not receive the optimum potassium. So next, moving to the calcium. Calcium is a constituent of the cell wall. There is a substance, calcium pactate. In calcium pactate, calcium is a constituent, and once there is a less supply of calcium, then the calcium pactate will not be formed. That means the cell wall will not be in a position to maintain its turgidity, and it is important. The calcium is important for growth of meristem and root tips. It maintains the iron imbalance in the plants cells. Then it neutralizes the charge of acid ions in the plant system. It helps in cell division. It helps to maintain chromosome structure, activates many enzymes like phospholipase, arginine kinase, amylase, and ATPase. So there are many functions the calcium play inside the plant. And similar to potassium, the deficiency of calcium also occurs in soil where high rainfall area is there, low soil pH is there, and high amount of magnesium and potassium sometimes lowers the calcium in the soil system. So when we talk of the deficiency, as I said, this is very important for cell wall formation. Calcium is a constituent as a calcium pactate. So whenever this cell wall is not turgid, then the leaves cannot maintain its shape. So deformity of the plants is the major symptom with the calcium. So we can see through these slides, many leaves are cup shaped or they are wrinkled. So this is all the deficiency of calcium. And we can see this potato plant here, this is not a normal plant. The internodal distance, the number of leaves, they are all twisted, or they are deformed. So, and we can see this potato, the upper side, these are deformed potatoes. One will not buy such a potato from the market, but other one where there is good supply, the potatoes are they are able to maintain the shapes. So the deformity is the major symptom of calcium deficiency, and there is a disease associated with calcium, that is blossom and rot. This blossom and rot is basically sometime farmer may consider it as a fungal disease, but this is not a fungal disease. It initiates at the point where the flower is attached with the tomato. So at that point a small black spot will first appear, which gradually will widen and it gets enlarged, and later on so it may be affected by some fungus, but initially this is the deficiency of calcium. And the calcium is also like phosphorus, it also helps in better rooting of the crops. We can see through this slide how they can, with increase in calcium concentration, how the best roots and the lot of growth of the roots. Moving to the magnesium. Magnesium is again a constituent of chlorophyll. It is a central atom in the chlorophyll structure. So it activates many enzymes, and it is involved in the carbohydrate metabolism and synthesis of nucleic acid. It promotes uptake and translocation of phosphorus also, and movement of sugars within the plants. And when we talk of its deficiency symptom, since it is associated with the chlorophyll, so general paleness is the main symptom, but that paleness is accompanied with the dark green veins. Veins are normal in color, they are intervenal chlorosis. We say it as a intervenal chlorosis. We can see all these slides. So this again starts from the older leaves. New leaves, they remain green, but older leaves, we can see the initial in the beginning the deficiency symptom will appear in the older leaves. So intervenal chlorosis. And those pastures which are not properly supplied with magnesium, and high supply of potassium is made, there the magnesium deficiency, that the cattle grazing on such pastures may sometimes face the disease grass tetany disorder, in which the animal becomes upset, and it faces certain seizure, and sometimes it becomes fatal also. So moving next to the sulfur. Sulfur is a constituent of sulfur containing amino acids. It is like cysteine, cysteine, methionine. Sulfur is a constituent ferrodoxin containing nitrogenase, which take part in BNF, biological nitrogen fixation. It is involved in metabolic activities of vitamins, biotin, thiamine, and coenzyme A. It is involved in synthesis of glucosides in mustard oil. In all the oil seed crops, sulfur is very important to improve the quality of the oil. And when we speak of the deficiency symptom, it's very easy to identify the deficiency symptom of sulfur. Younger leaves of the crop, they become pale yellow, just like nitrogen. Deficiency symptom of nitrogen starts from the older leaf, but the deficiency symptom of the sulfur starts from the upper leaf. We can very clearly see this in wheat plants. So in cereals, this younger leaves are yellowish, but you see at the ground level the leaves are green. So this is a clear-cut indication. Here in case of tomato, we can clearly see how the upper leaves, they are yellowish, but this see the normal plant where the elements are there is no symptom. So this symptom is very easy to identify in the field condition. In brassica also we can clearly see compounds are there which can supply sulfur, and generally there is a requirement of about 25 to 50 kg of sulfur per hectare is needed. So we can very easily make this element available, and it is associated with the low organic matter of the soil also. So if the soils are having a good amount of carbon, so their availability of sulfur will be better there. But anyhow, we can manage this sulfur deficiency with the use of so many sources of sulfur. And we moving to the micronutrients, we see that this first one is the iron. Iron, which is among the micronutrients, this is the nutrient which is required in highest amount among the new micronutrients only. So it is a constituent of hemoprotein, cytochrome oxidase, catalase, peroxidase, hemoglobin, constituent of ferrodoxin and cysteine. It activates many enzymes, plays important role in nucleic acid metabolism. And when we speak of the deficiency symptom of iron, so deficiency symptom of iron, again we can see these slides, and we will see that these are again there is intervenal chlorosis. Since iron is not mobile in the plant system, its deficiency symptom appear on the younger leaves first. on the top leaves, but there is intervenal chlorosis. Veins are green, so this is just opposite to the magnesium deficiency. Magnesium deficiency starts from the older leaves, but iron deficiency starts from the younger leaves in the similar fashion. We can see the leaf tip here for maize, how they it in the beginning itself, it is the leaf is coming out, the deficiency symptom is already there. So it's very easy to identify the deficiency of the iron in the fluid condition. And moving to the manganese, manganese is an integral component of water splitting enzymes associated with the photosynthetic electron transport. Therefore, it is associated with the adverse effect on the photosynthesis and oxygen evolution. It is a constituent of superoxidase dismutase. This has a role to play in a tricarboxylic acid cycle, and it is involved in oxidative and non-oxidative decarboxylation reactions with nicotine, adenine, diamine, malic enzyme, and isocitrate dehydrogenase catalyzing reactions. So when we speak of the deficiency of manganese, there is one has to be very careful in diagnosing the deficiency of manganese. Generally, this deficiency is again matching to those of magnesium or iron, we can say. So there is a confusion. But whenever we face this confusion, we must see what is the color of the veins inside. Intervenal chlorosis is there, but this intervenal in these veins are extraordinarily dark green. They will not be normally green as that of the normal plant leaf, but they will be extraordinarily dark green. We can see this through these slides, that the veins are extraordinarily dark green. So this and these main point is the symptoms are more severe in the middle leaves rather than younger parts of the plant or the older parts of the plant. The middle area leaves, they will have there, the symptom will be more prominent there. That indicates that this is the deficiency of manganese. And there are certain other symptoms also which are associated with the certain disease. We call it disease due to manganese deficiency, like gray speck of oat. We can see there is a very different symptom. And Mars spot of peas, we may feel that these pea seeds are affected with certain disease, but this is not a disease. This is the deficiency of manganese. Pahlav light of sugarcane. Then speckled yellow of sugar beet, we can see downside. So this is the deficiency of manganese. Here there is no intervenal chlorosis, but these are the well recognized diseases which has been identified through all sort of testing, and this manganese deficiency. Moving to the next element, zinc. It is a constituent of more than 80 enzymes, and it is involved in synthesis of indole acid and metabolism of gibberellic acid and synthesis of RNA. These IAA and the gibberellic acid, these are the plant growth promoters. So if there is zinc deficiency, the synthesis of these plant growth promoter is affected, so plant growth is affected badly. So it influences the translocation and transport of phosphorus in plants. And under zinc deficiency, excessive translocation of P take place, resulting in P toxicity sometimes. Deficiency of zinc deficiency symptoms: intervenal chlorosis of young leaves, clustered leaves, bronzing, purple, violet, reddish brown, brown coloration of foliage. Different crops, different symptoms. There is no unique symptom of the zinc deficiency which can be generalized. And Salter internode is another one. Khera disease of rice, white bud in maize, little leaf in citrus, peach and cotton. These are the diseases. These are the typical symptoms which have been associated with the zinc deficiency, and its deficiency can be well managed with the application of zinc sulfate at a 2% spray along with the 1% lime at fortnightly interval. Copper, next element, it is also a constituent of many enzymes like plastocin superoxidase, dismutase, diamine oxidase, polyphenol oxidase, and ascorbate oxidase. It enhances the fertility of male flower in the plant. So among deficiency symptoms, the male flower sterility is one, delayed flowering, senescence, chlorosis of younger shoot tissues, white tip, leaf distortion, dieback, etc. There are many symptoms of the copper deficiency. Among other symptoms, we can clearly see here the leaf tip may die in case of wheat. The flag leaf where the on is coming out. So sometimes we can see this symptom of drying of this flag leaf. And in on certain occasion, the on generally face difficulties in coming out, and it appears as a banded one. So this bent of the on is a symptom of the copper deficiency. In sweet potato, there is brown streaks appearance on the flesh. We can see clearly the lines of these streaks of brown coloration in the flesh of this sweet potato. This is another symptom of copper deficiency. Moving to next nutrient, molybdenum. Molybdenum is a constituent of nitrate reductase, nitrogenase, xanthine oxidase, dehydrogenase, and sulfite oxidase in the plant system, and it is associated with the biological nitrogen fixation. So it is involved in protein synthesis through RNA and alanine aminotransferase activity. It affects the formation and viability of pollens. And among the symptoms, there is one typical symptom of molybdenum deficiency, that is recorded for cauliflower, whip-tail disease of the cauliflower. This leaf turns just like a tail, so it is called whip-tail disease. And another symptoms may be chlorotic mottling between the veins on old and middle leaves. Severely affected leaves show scorching and withering starting from the margins. But generally, in most of the soils, molybdenum deficiency do not appear because its availability increases with the rise in soil pH. So only in case of extremely acid soil, strongly acid soil, we may face a certain deficiency of molybdenum. Moving to next, boron. Boron is also required for cell wall formation inside the plant. It also provides drought tolerance. It is also involved in pollen germination and pollen tube growth. It facilitates the iron uptake through activity of plasma membrane. It facilitates transport of potassium in guard cell as well as opening of stomata. But among the deficiency symptom, we can say the terminal bud becomes discolored and may die under acute conditions when boron is not made available. Shorter internodes and impart the rosety appearance, that is also due to deficiency of boron. Heart rot of sugar beet, browning of or hollow stem of cauliflower, top sickness of tobacco, internal cork of apple. So this is the symptom, and we can see clearly here wherever these fruits are cracking and this purple orange color produce. For example, cauliflower, we can see this the color of this trifolium species here we can see. So this is indication of this boron deficiency. And another one, in case of maize, when the cob is not filled properly in between also, so the grains are not there, this is a symptom of the boron deficiency. And this guava, we can see this how these fruits are appearing. This is due to boron deficiency. And this is the corking of the produce, especially in case of apple. When we cut an apple, it is very soft to cut, but if we need to apply more force on that means there is deficiency of boron. So this is the in a brief, I can just show the symptoms of the different nutrients. I spoke about the primary, secondary, and micronutrients. And regarding the management of the deficiency of all the nutrients, it is always suggested to use a balanced application of not only the primary sources but also the secondary and micronutrients. And application of organic manures, FYM, crop residues will always have an added advantage on the nutrient supply to the plants. And this NPK, the 50% of N and the whole dose of P and K should be applied as a basal dose, and the remaining nitrogen should be applied in 2 splits for the optimum performance of the crops. And we must follow 5 R's: right type of fertilizer in right amount at right time and right place, and through a right method of application will always be helpful in providing the optimum dose of optimum supply of all essential plant nutrients to crops. And there are n number of fertilizers available for all the elements, right from nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all the elements. We have different sources of nutrients. Those can be and these nutrients can be applied as a soil application, as well as if the need be, we can go for the foliar sprays also, to have a immediate effect to recover the shock that plant has gone through. And so with this, I thank for your kind attention in this session. Thank you so much.